Hey guys, Brozan here. Gonna show off the Dexxer a little bit today. Learned a couple of things that were interesting, so thought they'd be worth bringing up. Gonna talk about the spec just a little bit real quick. Archery here, you can ignore. Those points are going into healing. We decided to focus heavier on magic resist. It's a good damage modifier, and it makes doing demons pretty easy mode. So that's why magic resist went up and dropped 20 points out of anatomy to pick that up. That's the spec itself. I want to talk about the chain. So my chain is kind of ugly. All my gold links are in my boating chain. So we're utilizing bronzes and a couple of silvers here. But I made a mistake in doing my calculations because when you come out here and you set all this stuff up and we hit our Divine Fury, it shows 14.4 for swing speed. Uh, that is not correct because typically this is a solo build. We can assume that we're being targeted. So it's actually 4% times shiv divided by 100. So times 1.2, which comes to 4.8% swing speed that we weren't calculating in this calculation. What that ultimately means is I was able to drop out 5 bronze melee swing speed links and pick up just straight Slayer damage for Inferno. I like to run melee accuracy and defense because I'm only tier 11. Once this is higher, I can start dropping these links out as well. You can see right now I'm almost 100% chance to hit at 100 skill. And we talked about this in the past, but when disarm goes off, that goes well over 100%. So we use a burst macro. I'll talk about it a little bit as I drive myself into Inferno. So let's head to Inferno. Always use your shiv gate, that way you get that bonus, 6% damage. Use your rope as often as you can. See, I was aiming too far in front of myself. Using rope is extremely good idea as it teaches you where and where you cannot rope when PvP happens, but also you just get more comfortable with the concept. This is a really interesting spot for roping. We can skip a whole lot of running around there. Talked about this and we'll talk about it some more now. Background script's running. My background script for my Dexxer auto bandages. So if my health is hurt, I'm missing more than 1 health, and I'm not bandaging, it tries to bandage me. Real simple thing. The other thing that it does is if I have less than, I think, 40 hit points, maybe 30, it will auto heal pop me. It doesn't try to do that. It's got a bunch of configuration. And then the third thing that my background script does is when it sees the disarm text, either success or if it sees a success, it swaps into wild swing for 10 seconds. If it sees a fail, it turns off disarm so we don't keep trying. And if it sees a success, it turns off disarm so we don't keep trying. That lets me control my burst, and I can just turn on disarm whenever I want to hit something hard. We swap into Wild Swing because it's considerably more damage. Let's drink a magic resist pot. And we're going to hit our... that's dangerous. We're going to hit our burst key. You can see now we're in Wild Swing. It says going wild. The defense is significantly reduced during disarm. Now it's back to Sunder because we're no longer in the disarm window. I'll talk some more about what those actually do as we farm here. Looks like this place is a little farmed out. So we may have to move. Yeah. So we'll talk about our burst macro. Burst macro pushes Divine Fury enemy of 1 and consecrate weapon. It's designed to immediately do all those skills at once. I don't like auto casting things because I like to control when they go off. Like right now, you can see I'm at max holy symbols. You don't get that if you're auto casting because it would still consider me in combat and it would be wasting those as I'm running around aimlessly. It also turns on disarm, so burst macro, disarm enabled, going wild. That means disarm was successful and we're hitting wild stance. I'm working on pointing Sunder and Wild Stance up. They're both at 5 right now. They're the two that I'll take to 7 first. Probably take Sunder up first because we're in that stance more. Probably 20 seconds of combat for every 10 that we're in Wild. I do run a Veilhide staff, or a Veilwood staff. I ran Avar for a while, but the prices of Avar have gone up lately, so I don't want to pay $25,000 for a stick. I'm running a weapon oil. I'm actually not running air, but that's because I'm being cheap. I'm running earth because I had a bunch of them laying around. I didn't mean to pull that bar online. Should have looted those diamonds. It's dangerous to loot a stick because my dress macro tells it to dress sticks. But I'm always on the lookout for that supremely accurate vanquishing stick. My goodness, this place is very loaded with individuals. At least it means I get to talk a lot. We talked about our disarm script. One issue with using it is that it just says disarm. It doesn't do any checks if we're set to disarm or not. So I have a separate hotkey that actually just says disarm, and I try to pay a little bit of attention to it. Remembering to rope often. So disarm, shift boss, going wild. You start seeing these numbers really go up. This is why I like that accuracy. I never, ever, ever want to miss a disarm. Missing disarm is wasting a massive damage multiplier. I don't loot magic stuff. Essence is not a problem because I do ocean content. And so I've got a gigantic stockpile of arcane essence laying about. Eventually, when we're in heavy farm, we'll get to the point where Divine Fury and Enemy of One are the only two that we can push on our burst. That's acceptable. It's nice to push that Consecrate weapon, but it's not a must-have. Oh, nice. Decent scroll. I use trapped pouches, but I don't use a loot bag. I'm firmly of the opinion that if a thief shows up, they're going to find my crap anyway. So instead, I just use multiple trapped pouches, and I put different stuff in different pouches with the hope that they'll see one that says 1 and click on it, and it's actually, a garbage scroll. I'm too lazy to get much fancier than that. I don't rope where it would stop me next to enemies because I'm not good at it. I especially don't rope by trees because standing next to these trees is a death sentence. Turn on the pathfinding so I can double click my potion here. Molten demons, they do this stompy thing. We gotta move around them until they do their stomp. You'll hear it. I'm talking, so I don't hear it very well. My script didn't push enemy of one. I use shield bash specifically because I'm constantly moving. I don't like standing still. Bulwark is also acceptable. See, now I know I can't rope over that. Oh, I really screwed that up. I'm gonna drink a hill pot real quick. They do their stomp every 15 seconds. So if you're kind of paying attention, you know exactly when it's going to come. And that's when you start moving. Throw your empty bottles on the ground. Or a bunch of alcoholics in this game. See, this is almost dead, so I don't want to waste my disarm, but my Divine Fury is almost up, so I'm going to click it. We took a lot of damage in that fight. Gonna take a second and regen here. Let that bandage tick down just a little bit more. Now we'll go engage. This is where using a script that pushes everything, it desyncs between that manual cast of enemy of 1 earlier that I had. So I've got to click here. We'll eventually let it tick down and reset so that everything's being pushed at the same time. The reason that's important is because it also presses consecrate, and we only get 7 holy symbols back generally in the time that it takes to move to a new target. And we want those 7 to always be Divine Fury and enemy of 1 before consecrate, because they add the most value to the spec. These guys suck. We're only killing them to get to this sorcerer that's right beyond them. Dodge their throwy thingy. Here's the reason they suck. They have that fire shield. If you're not paying attention, that fire shield can ruin your day. Mow through this guy. We're going to go up here and kill this sorceress. We're going at a pretty good clip. Got to make sure our pot's up for this sorcerer. Stand in the fire like a moron. There's a lot to be said here for timing things. Like, you'll see I'm timing my swap outs, I'm timing my disarm, I'm timing my buffs. It's important to know what's happening next. Another thing that's important to keep up with is mob death timers. I know that it takes however long for those demons to respawn. I know they're not going to be back up if I run down there, so I'm going to go look and see if some of these lessers are up. We've kind of got pushed out of where we'd like to farm. We'd like to be farming up here, but good deal. So the lessers are back up. We're not going to stop on this one. These guys are still up here. I'm just going to kill some garbage. I wasted my disarm on that other one, so I'm going to turn my disarm off. I can always turn it back on if I need to. I don't want it to go off if this thing takes an air proc or something, though. It's at half health, so we're going to leave our disarm off. Once you get to 33, that finisher kicks in, and that's really the super important thing. We're not going to push concentrate here for, again, the same reason. We can keep up Divine Fury and enemy of 1 just about always. So it's okay to have those guys tick at any time. Killing that stuff should have gave our Moltons time to respawn. If it didn't, we'll come back and kill a tree or two. I'm going to show you why we say we don't rope at the trees. See that little rain nonsense that they do? We don't want to get hit with that. Pot up. Stompy stomp. Get his face in. You can see why the burst macro is so nice. In 10 seconds, we're going to wipe out 50% of his health. Stompy stomp. I don't have an actual timer for the stomp, but if you pay attention to your shift buff, or any cooldown that you have running, you can kind of time it on your own. Yeah, we killed him too fast, so his buddies are still dead. We'll go kill a tree and come back. I don't know if you can rope down these steps. You cannot. Oh, the proc's gonna mean... There it is. Oh, come on, guy. Do your stomp. Right, so see, it was at 21 seconds, so we know at 6 seconds we need to watch for it again. We're going to wait just a moment on those buffs to be ready to be recast because we don't want to put our show macro. And our stomp. Proceed to beating his face in. Stomp should be set. I wasn't watching these well, so I get to dance a minute. It's going to happen off of our buff timer next time. So really just need to have a mental note. Probably in the near future. So we'll listen. Wonder. Oh, that's interesting that we can see there, but not the other side. I wish there was a line of sight check on that type of thing, but it would be insanely strong in scripting, so I understand why there's not. That one. Isn't it funny we actually have to watch our health on these things, but not on the demons? That's the way of you. Rock, buddy. Up to almost 20,000 gold. Doing pretty good in here. First macro this guy. Drop your fire field, buddy. I'm just gonna stand still. Taking a tick or two of the fire field ain't the end of the world. Oh, fortune, that's a good one. I don't remember what pot. Hey, we managed to hit one we didn't use last time. Our demons are on a weird cadence down here now because we killed one a little bit after the other. So just keep that in mind. We'll run up, check the lessers, see if these guys are still here. I should have been roping, I was talking. That demon's up, this demon's up. We're gonna check this third demon spawn. Yeah, we'll go kill this guy. We'd much rather have control of these demons. They're easier to move. Magic resist potions, we should chug them. Really not a lot of reason to not. We're not gonna let her disarm prop here. Maybe we should. It's this decision-making process that makes this not boring. Otherwise, we'd just be asleep at the wheel here. Let's see where we are in 5 seconds on this guy. We're gonna wait on these buffs to get back up. Push our butt. We've desynced from it a little bit. These guys are so much easier to fight. There's no dancing around the lessers, and they're worth almost as much. I mean, obviously less, but you gotta worry about those stomps ruining your day. We see these guys, so it's probably pissing in the wind coming up here, but we're gonna check anyway. Hey, look at that, we got a respawn. This one hurt us. Oh, that was dangerous. I should have hit the hill pot I was thinking about hitting. We got scary for just a split second there. We saw a Mongback come in. I happen to know that guy's farming the Moltons, so it's wasting our time to still be up here. We're gonna go down and check on those. So this is why I don't autocast things. If I were autocasting, my Divine Fury would be going constantly here, and I wouldn't be at full. Something I like to be. I like to be sitting at 12 symbols when I get to a target when I haven't been farming consecutively. Stomp came in about 27, so we'll start moving about 15 just to be safe. I find it's a lot easier to just be moving instead of have to move on the sound cue. We'll talk about the macro again just a little bit because it's been a ways into the video. So my burst macro is pushing all these buttons, and it's also turning on disarm. My background script turns off disarm anytime it succeeds or fails, that way we don't waste disarm attempts. On a successful disarm, my background script switches me into wild stance for 10 seconds. The only time that's a bad thing is when I'm switching targets, because then I'm in wild stance against a new target. And when that's the case, we can always just manually swap it back. I use Shield Bash almost entirely because I like to move a lot, and I don't want to get used to the amount of damage that I take with Bulwark, which is considerably less, and then move and take a lot. We're not going to use another disarm here. It's in that breakable. Let's see, shatter, 1900 damage. We're going to wait. We're going to want to push these buttons all together, so we're going to just give it a second to tick up and run down. We pushed them manually, so we weren't tracking cooldowns well. Start engaging now. There our buttons are. A little bit of downtime ain't the end of the world. We learned that in voting. Sure, it blows your efficiency just a little bit, but who cares? You know, 5 seconds, 10 seconds of standing around so that you make sure you start the next fight right is, to me, more valuable than going around. Definitely nice to have control of some Moltons. The more northern stretch of Moltons has 6 in it. Down here only has 3. That's one of the reasons why we prefer to be up there. And we can weave in the lesser demons easier up there too. Dodge the rock. We did not dodge the rock. Pulling this guy down because he's sitting right on top of that sorcerer. And I don't like fighting multiple things if I don't have to. You might wonder why I don't run tracking, because I don't care. I know that's a terrible answer, but it's the truth. If a red comes in and kills me, great for him. It's pretty hard to kill a Dexxer who's running away. Not gonna lie. I've got scripts running in the background that are bandaging me the whole time. I've got roping. As long as I don't engage, I get free ropes and they don't. It's really hard to kill me unless I'm just asleep at the wheel. We drank a strength pot there because we're over 390. You never want to get over 440 without having like 2 minutes left on your strength pot and you're leaving. So we'll kill 1 or 2 more and then we're going to call it a trip. Mongbat's still up here, so I know he's farming what I want to farm. We'll kill these 2 lessers and get out of here. Before I engaged. Here we are. Thunk, 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 thunk. It's satisfying just beating stuff with a damn stick. I enjoy it. Picked up 10, I think maybe 7. Points in here today. It's not bad for 20 minutes or less. Up to 410. We might loot a magic item or 2 from this one. Oh, did you see that? I missed. Got my disarm off, so I should have pushed it. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and use disarm. This is the last one we fight. First. I think we hit the Hellion by accident with my disarm. Whoops. We'll take the magic items. We're done. Little trick, if you have a weapon equipped and it says cannot equip because of weight, you can cast a spell. And when you cast a spell, it always disarms to your pack. That's how you... No. My dump script tells it to run a dress macro and it dressed the wrong stick. Well, guys, that was fun. Let's look back in journal and see how much gold we did. Wasn't paying attention. 33,000, almost 34,000. I think that was a 20-minute run or so. So not bad. If we'd have had it to ourselves, it would have been a little more. But we're starting to get up there on the gold per hour on this character. It's starting to feel good. Almost to the point where I'd feel better about just leaving gold on the corpses and looting rares. We'll get to that point eventually. Probably need another tier or 2 in air, realistically, before we get there. But, guys, thank you for watching. I enjoyed making this. And if you have questions, drop them down in the comments on the YouTube video. Hit me up in Discord. You should be able to find me pretty easy on Discord as well. And thanks again. Like and subscribe. That stuff's good for me. It makes me feel good. So if you enjoyed the content, like and subscribe. And thanks, guys.